Hi guys, Jeff Churchill and Steven Johnson here from Smithco. We're going to talk to you a little bit today about our technology packages that go on to all of our spray stars. Steven, tell us a little bit about what's available on our sprayers.
I'd be happy to do that, Jeff. We offer 4 different control packages. One is a standard electric control system. A standard electric control system's essentially old school spraying, if you will. A lot of people are comfortable with it, but you're going to have a pressure gauge, individual sectional control, increase and decrease for pressure, all right? The next step to that is an advanced rate control system. An advanced rate control system is going to allow you to drop in your rate, your desired rate, what you're looking for, and then from that point you have about a 20% variation in speed.
And why is that?
So nozzle, flow, rate, it's all a direct reflection. So keep in mind, to maintain rate, nozzle, pressure, and speed. That equates into rate.
So for the most part, it's not necessarily the controller. Our weak link in the system is the nozzle size, correct?
That's right. That's right. So you're going to run out of tip well before you run out of pump.
Awesome.
So the next step to that is a Star Command 1 system.
Okay.
And what a Star Command 1 system is, an advanced rate control system coupled with our Dynajet. This is really where the sizzle comes in. So what the Dynajet does for an advanced rate control system, it gives you a 60% increase in productivity, all right? So instead of that 20, now you have an 80% variation in speed. We're eliminating everything that makes us have to focus on rate, all right? So this is essentially an automatic tip changer if you really think about that. With pulse width modulation, you're pulsing at 20 hertz 20 times a minute or a second. And keep in mind, this is not a bad pulse. This is a good pulse.
But 20 times per second is a pretty insignificant pulse. So
that's right.
There certainly isn't any misses at that point.
That's right. So what that's doing is that's holding that open longer or shorter to make sure that your flow is exactly right based on your speed.
All right, what does that do to my pressure if I increase?
So that's
what I've noticed in my standard system is I increase, my droplet sizes get smaller, and
that's
vice versa the other way.
And that's really where pulse width modulation comes back into play here. So with the Dynajet, you have the ability to select your droplet size, and it keeps you consistent in pressure, okay? So that will allow you, so let's say people talk about drift control and wanting covered shields. True drift control is located right at your fingertips. You can do that on the fly. So I can go from a medium droplet to a coarse droplet to a very coarse to an extreme coarse if I choose so. And every pulse width modulation nozzle that's available through T-Jet is in that Dynajet. So you can literally go in there and select your nozzle type and what you're using based on what your application needs are.
So whether I increase my speed, increase my rate, decrease my speed, decrease my rate, it's going to maintain that same droplet size and be consistent through the entire spray.
That's correct.
That's pretty cool technology. Tell me a little bit about how that solenoid works. I mean, does that give me any lag, or is it an instant on off or anything of that order?
It's instant on and off. We're no longer dealing with ball valves anywhere, so there's none of that delay. Not that delay is a bad thing, but with pulse width modulation, everything happens back at the nozzle body. So it's instant on, instant off.
Awesome.
And that's going to get extremely important when we start talking about Star Command 2, all right?
So Star Command 2 gives us what?
So Star Command 2, new for us this year, is version 3.0, all right? And with that new version, there's a lot of goodies that come with it that we're all very, very excited about. One of which is turn compensation, all right?
Turn compensation.
Which we've never had before. Virtual switches, so that allows us to have up to 99 nozzles. We'll never do that, but the cool thing about that is now we have the ability to have 10-inch nozzle spacings. And you're probably asking yourself, why is that important? So when you're dealing with a 20-inch nozzle spacing, there's no way to slice that nozzle in half, right?
Right.
So we're limiting that room of air, okay? So when you're coming on the green with the 3.0 with permanent mapping, okay? As you come onto that surface area, it's going to be twice as accurate as any other system out there because of that 10-inch nozzle spacing.
So my accuracy is really 10 inches.
That's right.
That's exactly what I can place my chemical to, is a 10-inch
That's correct.
space.
That's correct.
Awesome. The GPS itself, the mapping system that's utilized in the Star Command 2s. Tell me a little bit about that. How do we get our correction signal, and how do we remap or map coming back the next time when I want to spray?
So it's permanent mapping. There's a couple of different ways that you can map with the Smithco unit that separates us from others. One is you can map with the machine itself. You have 5 different locations. It's whatever you feel comfortable. We feel that doing it off the driver front tire is the easiest because it gives you a good visual line when you're doing fairways. The other way that we map is we provide a mapping tool to you or the customer to go out and map their tees and greens, because we want that accuracy, because that's where your real money's at, right? All your little pie shapes, your weird finagling trying to get from point A to point B.
Yeah, well, my volume might not be there, but there's much more waste because of the shapes of the greens and tees.
And keep in mind, it's not only about chemistry saving, it's about consistency. So every green, we want that to look the same. Every tee, we want that to look the same. And it also accounts for accountability. So it's important to utilize this technology. There's so much you can do with this. I mean, it's really taking your course to the next level.
So when I create that boundary, and I'm going to paint inside of that boundary, the next time I come back, what is my accuracy? How close do I come back to that boundary?
So it's sub 2-inch accuracy.
Okay.
So keep in mind, a lot of that's going to come down to how you map your greens, fairways, tees. I like to be right on the line. A lot of guys like to, for room for air, they like to be 12 inches outside, whatever it may be, because there is so much chemistry savings with this type of technology. They don't have a problem with being a few inches on the outside of a line. Definitely don't want to be a few inches on the inside, obviously. But with individual nozzle control that automatically shuts off, they're not worried about a whole section that's out here spraying something that doesn't need to be sprayed. To kind of come back to your original question, and I do apologize, our correction signal comes from satellites. We do not use a base station. There is a subscription with the Novatel product. There's a whole array of satellites that's used worldwide. So we use Terra Pro C now. It's a major upgrade to your convergency and how quick that information comes back. Because keep in mind, not only are you moving, but the world's moving, right? So those satellites, your convergency is really important to be right back where you need to be.
So will that same TerraStar signal, will I be able to utilize that worldwide?
Worldwide. Does not matter where you're at.
All right, cool. Can we walk back to the boom a little bit?
Yeah.
And we talk a little bit about the spacing and show what we're doing there. One of the things that really intrigued me earlier in our conversation was you talked about turn compensation.
That's right.
Can you tell me a little bit about what turn compensation actually is?
Yeah, so turn compensation has been used in ag for a number of years, okay? So we're talking about 100-foot booms. With our traditional booms, especially on the 10-inch spacing, it becomes more important now. So turn compensation, if you're making a slight turn or a hard pivotal turn because of the complex of your green, sometimes you got to make funky maneuvers. It will actually, your inside nozzle without turn compensation is going to be the same rate all the way through the transition as your outside nozzle over here. With turn compensation, that effectively changes the pulse based on what your machine is doing, maneuvering, and keeping that rate properly here and the rate properly out there.
So as my boom slows down on the inside of my turn, it slows the rate, but then it speeds up the rate on the outside of my boom.
That's correct.
Awesome.
And that's why we're super excited about this 3.0. You know, our regular Star Command 2 that we sold for the past 4 years in partnership with T-Jet has been awesome. They're just taking it to the next level.
Beautiful. So the 10-inch spacing, the solenoids back here instant on off with the Dynajet. Anything else you'd like to add to our conversation today?
No, I think we basically covered all the high notes. If you got any more questions, I encourage you to go ahead and visit our website or reach out to your local dealer.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. On behalf of the entire Smithco family, we'd like to personally thank you for reviewing our product.
For more information, please visit smithco.com or contact your local dealer.